I was first drawn to your work of your market analysis by the metaphors that you use to music and art. I started reading your newsletter, and I love that you open up every day, usually with something sort of, mind expanding and not drilling right down into the markets. How do you come up with the metaphors? How does the art relate to the market so easily for you?
Well, I spend a lot of time in the morning sitting in a dark room, staring at the computer, and it's almost like meditation in itself.
Yeah.
You always try when you write. You always try, you try to find a way to explain something that is complex in an easy way, and metaphors are usually a way to do this. And then I love art. I love classical music, and so life is too short if I just write about investing.
Yeah,
so.
That's so true. I couldn't agree more. Sometimes when you see something in the markets, it becomes naturally in your head, and you're like, oh, that's just like a song, or it reminds me of a painting.
So you know what happens, actually? It's kind of interesting. So if you write, and I write every day for an hour and a half a day. If you write, you start thinking like a writer. And what I mean by this, you start looking for metaphors. Actually, this is a perfect analogy. So I live in Denver, and 100 miles away from a lot of ski resorts.
Mm-hmm.
And I skied for a long time, and I thought I was a good skier. And I thought I was a good skier because we skied in Keystone, where the mountains, it's a relatively small resort, and the mountain is perfectly groomed.
Mm.
I was always the first one down the mountain, and I felt like I'm a very good skier. And then one day we went to Vail, and it snowed a lot. The snow was very deep, and it was horrible. And I would fall like every 5 minutes, and I hurt my shoulder actually. So how does it relate to the market? So here is an analogy. If you were investing in the market over the last 10 years, then basically Federal Reserve basically groomed the slopes. You're like you're skiing in Keystone. So you think you have a great, perfect form, etc. Except this is not the real market. At some point, we're going to have a real market, and it's going to snow a lot. And you're going to find out that you're probably not as good of an investor as you thought you were, just because the slopes would not be perfectly groomed.
That's right.